Welcome to Veggies and Herbs. I'm Ruben Malale. Now in the previous video, we harvested some of the cool season crops that have been growing in the garden. In today's video, we will be replacing those crops with some heat-loving crops. But before we do that, let us quickly add some fertility to the ground before we do some planting. I've been making some compost in this municipal compost bin for the past couple of months, and it is finally ready. I thought that it would be a good idea just to add some fertility to the ground before I plant out some of the heat-loving crops. Now, if you are within the city of Cape Town, I think it would be a good idea to check out if this compost program is still working. I managed to get this one from the city of Cape Town, and this is the second time that I'm harvesting compost from this bin. So I'm totally happy with how the compost is looking like. There are some items that didn't decompose, like the bones, but it is not a big issue. We will just remove some of them, and then we will spread out the compost to the beds before we do the planting. Now that the soil has been prepared, I think it is perfect time to go ahead and plant some of the heat-loving crops. So my plan is to double down on butternut, onions, and some sweet potato for this season. So my plan is to plant a different type of squashes. So for the first one that I will be transplanting is this Waltham variety. We started them in September, and it is time for us now to transplant the seedling. So I'm hoping to get a good harvest this time around. So I will just be making a hole, add some bone meal to the plant before I transplant it. So this is the Waltham variety that I will be planting on this side. Another variety that I'm also planning to grow this year is definitely the honeynut variety. Now the honeynut, they produce beautiful small fruits, and I've already planted one in the previous month. It is coming along quite nicely on the side, and I will just be sowing one directly into the ground. So the good thing with the squashes is that their seeds are big, so they are perfect for planting directly into the ground. On this side, you can see there's a zucchini plant growing. I'm also hoping to grow some zucchini. So that one is transplanted that earlier this month, and it is coming along well. I will also just be planting 2 gem squashes next to my trellis. So those are the squashes that I will be focusing on this year. Please let us know what squashes are you working on or hoping to grow this season. Now the next fruits that I will also be transplanting will be these bell peppers. We also started them indoors in September. We potted them on last month, and I think they are perfect size to be transplanted. So this is the area where the sweet potatoes were growing, so I will just be transplanting these pepper plants also on this side of the garden. Now that has been sorted out, I will move over to the tomatoes. So these are the tomatoes that we started also in September, but I potted them also on. And since I want succession harvest, I will not plant out all my determinate varieties at once, because the way the determinate varieties grow is that they get ready all at the same time. So for this month, I will just be planting out this one plant in this raised bed, and I will pot on the other one to transplant it next month. That will just allow me not to harvest all the tomatoes at once and to stagger my harvest. So for the indeterminate varieties, I will be making a small structure that I saw in a book that will work well with determinate tomatoes, but you can use wire cage or some stacks. I will probably get it in future videos, but I thought let me try out this approach. So the way it works is that I have 3 canes that I will be putting around the plant. I have this ring that I got from a nursery. I will just use this to tie it around, and then I'll put a cane across. And I think this will just be a better support for the determinate variety, just to give it some support. The other determinate variety, hopefully next month I will be able to get a wire cage or stack just to allow that plant to grow better. So I'm trying out different approaches. Last year I used a different approach, but this year I want to see how this approach will work. Yeah, we have also here indeterminate volunteer variety. It's growing up the trellis, and the fruits are quite tasty. Yeah, so tomatoes definitely one of the things that you should consider for your summer garden. Yeah, when it comes to the leafy greens, I have kale seedling that I will also be transplanting. Swiss chard is also another South African favorite that you can also grow. And I've also sowed some baby spinach also in this container. So there are quite a number of leafy greens that you can still plant in summer. Just make sure that you plant them in a shaded environment and keep them moist. And also importantly is to harvest those leaf young to avoid the plants or the leaves to become bitter. So I harvested some carrots and beetroot previously, but just for continuous supply I will also sowing another round of carrots, beets, and I haven't tried turnips before, so I will just be also sowing some turnips directly into the garden here in my jungle garden. Yeah. When it comes to the lagoons, this year I have here black-eyed peas. I will be sowing this directly also next to this wall. This is where other potatoes were growing, so I will just directly sow some of the black-eyed peas. I'll also be planting some runner beans next to the trellis. So bush beans, runner beans, black-eyed peas are definitely some of the legumes that you can definitely also plant in November to have a productive summer garden. Yeah. Since September I started sweet potatoes off in this container. This is just to get some additional slopes. As you can see, it's getting along quite easy. So for me, it is much easier to grow slopes this way. There are a couple of other ways that you can do it, but for me this is the best way to do it. As you can see, it's developing some beautiful slopes, which I will be transplanting hopefully next month. But let me quickly give you an update on some of the sweet potatoes that we transplanted in October. There's some beautiful growth that is taking place. Yeah. So still a good time to start your sweet potato slopes or transplanting. Now when it comes to herbs, there are quite a number of options that you have. I have here basil, and basil is well known to pair very well with tomatoes. So I will just plant this basil plant next to this determinate tomato. So basil, it's a perfect herb to do pretty well in the summer months, and you can definitely pair it with your tomatoes. I also have thyme on this side of the garden. It's growing well nicely. Another herb that you can also plant is definitely arugula. Sage is also another one. Rosemary. There are quite a number of herbs that can definitely also be planted in the month of November. So this year I'm also trying to add some color to the gardens. So I have here petunia plants that I've got from the nursery that I'm also planting out. Here I have some of the zinnias that I've also planted in the garden. Nasturtium is also very well known among gardeners, and it can be a nice trap crop to attract the aphids. Marigold is also well known, and it's one of the favorites that in many South African gardeners use as a plant to keep some of the pests at bay. If you want to see the winter harvest, you can click on the screen and check out here. And until next time, keep on sowing and growing.